I it's on at this time to bring some end of day energy for you guys. So let's see how we get on. And Haley did the discussion earlier around driving PR. I don't do drive PR. I do PR to manipulate LLMs and Google. And if you're not thinking about LLMs, then you're not going to be in business for 2 years. It's the reality of this situation. There's 3 scenarios where you're going to get some value from my talk today. Is you want more LLM and Google visibility and you're going to do it yourself. You want more LLM and Google visibility, but you want to know what your agency's charging you for. And the third one is you want more LLM and Google visibility and you actually believe what I said. You want to hire me. So all for stage 3, please. Getting your visibility on Google is flipping hard. And to be honest with you, AI has really minuted up this year. If you're working in the US market, AI overviews are already taking over. Within the next 6 months, AI and a ChatGPT style window is going to be the default for how you search for stuff. Within the next 12 months, that's going to be the same in the UK and Europe. So you can sit in denial, but this stuff is happening. It's not going away. Your mum's going to have to deal with it. Your kids are already doing it, by the way. Like, my kids don't use Google, they use ChatGPT. My mum will eventually be forced into using a ChatGPT window. So suck it up, guys. The reality is, though, that links are still powering the majority of Google's trust metric. People and Google trust the news and earned media more than they do bloggers and sort of manipulated web pages. It's really annoying that my deck isn't down here as well, by the way. Can that happen, by the way? Like, I'm sure that can happen while I talk. It's taking more and more authority than ever to rank on Google. Google has been going for 20 odd years now. There are businesses that have been investing in SEO for 20 odd years now. You can't just start a new business and expect to be on the front page of Google very quickly. Thank you very much. And you need to build your LLM authority. And at the moment, because with SEO, everything is temporary, that is coming from earned media. If you look at the sources that they're referencing, it's all earned media. So you are really going to have to double down on your digital PR investments. So what I want to teach you today is some ways to get noticed by Google, AI, but more importantly, your users. So there is a framework that we work to on Google, which is EEAT. So experience, expertise, authority, and trust. I won't read you through it all. I'll send you the deck if you wish to afterwards. But the reality is, if you're not showing experience, explaining expertise, showing Google your authority and making the users trust you, then why should you rank, to be honest? When you start to look at the space that AI overviews are taking on the SERPs, if you thought that featured snippets took a lot, Jesus Christ, you have no idea what's coming. I did a search today with a client on a call for Amazon agency. There was 4 adverts and 3 scrolls on my phone of AI overview. That is what we're starting to deal with. On mobile, you've got no chance. If you're not in that AI overview, you're nowhere, basically. We're actually moving towards AI mode first. There is not going to be 10 blue links on a page that you click. And if you're not being referenced by LLMs, you're nowhere. Basically, it's as horrible. And honestly, as a man that's made his money for 20 years from SEO, I'm fucking shitting myself. But you know what? We've always changed with the way that things work, and old tactics stop working, and we always figure stuff out. I'm confident that the SEO industry will figure out how we get you visibility in LLMs on a long-term basis, because we've got mortgages to pay and kids to feed, and we've got to figure it out. So has Google and AI killed SEO? Oh, it's a tough one, because AI, I've got a couple of links here, and I'll share my deck afterwards, so don't worry about it if you can't see. So this was a study by Semrush, and this was a study in March, and I already feel it's out of date, but that is how quick stuff is moving for us at the moment. But 13% of all queries triggered AI overviews in March, and that's up from 6.5% in January. So 100% increase in 2 months, 3 months ago. So that's the sort of speed we're moving at. And it's all informational. Like, I know a lot of you guys are affiliate side of stuff where you were just drinking the Kool-Aid of informational queries. It's gone and it ain't coming back, guys. So that's something that you need to really have a big think about. And these summaries are appearing above organic. So Google's not losing the 4 ads, but it's pushing the organic down and sticking the AI overview in the middle. So just something to think about when you're doing your content strategy and when you're thinking about how you can build the top of the funnel traffic that maybe you're going to paid retarget or that you're hoping to serve informational queries to. I'm biting my nails a bit, if I'm honest, but what can we do? Like, this is all decisions that are out of our control. We've just got to deal with what's put in front of us and get on with it. So this is from a study that another PR agency called PR Agency One in Manchester did in conjunction with the CIPD. And the reality is that digital PR-driven content is what is driving the references that LLMs are using. Earned media is still the source, and well-structured brand websites, the corporate blogs, Wikipedia pages, Quora, Reddit, all the usual suspects of what's getting referenced in LLMs. I don't just mean LLMs as in Google. We've got Perplexity, we've got Grok, we've got Gemini, we've got ChatGPT. So they're all kind of using still a kind of authority metric. I don't know enough about this to talk confidently about it because nobody does. Because this is literally stuff that's happening today, tomorrow, yesterday, stuff's changing. It's going to get to the point where if you're working with an agency is, do you believe what the guy on the phone's telling you? And do you believe that he's learning enough at the speed that the industry is shifting at? Because I'm stood here as an LLM expert and I'm thinking I know like 1%, but hey, it got me enough to get this gig. So I love you, Leanne. But that's how fast stuff is changing. And if people are coming to you saying, I know everything that there is to know, the developers at Google don't actually know how Gemini is coming up with this stuff. So just food for thought. But what we do know based on what's happening today is a lot of digital PR type activity is what's being referenced within the LLM results and what Google's traditional search engines are looking for. And that is what I'm here to talk to you about today. So you should also start thinking beyond Google SERPs. So if we just take this as a traditional family, 2.4 kids, I'm divorced. I don't conform to the traditional 2.4, but you've got smart TVs, you've got tablets, you've got phones. There are so many ways of consuming information. Google called these surfaces of Google. So not everything that you produce is to be on Google SERPs. You might be in Google Discover on Android. You might be appearing on smart feeds on Android TVs. It's everywhere you look. And think about where your customer is. And I've tried to give you as many real-world examples as I can today. I've also got 3 very easy tactics that you can go away and do yourself, or at least challenge your agency that they're doing these tactics. So, for example, I have a client in the LED bulbs space. So if we can get him featured on contracting websites, electrical websites, you're in market. What LLMs are looking for is relevancy. So if I'm featuring my light bulb client on an electrical website, there's relevancy. That's the sort of thing that they're looking for. There's a lot of chat at the moment about unlinked brand mentions affecting LLM relevancy. For the last 17 years, an unlinked mention has been a failure for my team because we didn't get a link. So I'm not fully bought in on an unlinked mention as a success. Seems like something that somebody didn't get a link would claim, if I'm honest. But that's just me. But it's not just in B2B. Like one of our clients, we were doing stuff that's in your drawers for Christmas. How can you make more money? They featured it in The Sun. Doesn't matter whether you like the publication. That's where their audience is. If you get it right, you will be in the doctor's waiting room forever and a day in Take a Break. So if you think about where your customers are, think about where you would want to be featured if it were your business, and do more of that. So effectively, from digital PR and LLM manipulation, what we're looking for is coverage that drives traffic and sales, because you're actually being featured in the publications that your customers read. We're looking at coverage that drives brand awareness. We're looking at coverage that can't be bought easily or via PayPal by just paying a blogger $100, $200 and getting a link. But more important than anything for me is I'm looking for coverage that feeds the current AI modeling. And I can only work on what AI modeling is allowing me to manipulate today. It could all change tomorrow, but nobody knows that. So all I can work with what's in front of me today and what's working, and try and manipulate that for the future proofing as much as possible. So a couple of tactics that we use as part of our digital PR campaigns. Hayley, loved your stuff, all corporate communications. That's not what we do. We make up surveys. So we like creative campaigns. They're larger, they require asset generation and a data or research driven. Cheapest cars for new drivers. Publications are going to lap that up. But my car insurance client that's been featured in the motoring section of The Sun, not only does it give me a really authoritative do follow backlink back to their website, but it's also giving the LLMs the sort of relevancy model that they're looking for. The intermediary is a trade press for mortgage stuff, and we did a survey that stated 35% of homeowners are considering moving to a more affordable area. Disproved me. And it was taken up by those. So again, we've got a publication about mortgages, about home finance. We've got a link to our mortgage broker client. We're including in the text Gareth Hoyle, hopefully we didn't use my name, of mortgage broker. So again, it's that I wouldn't say it's as basic as keyword density, but it's almost like a keyword relevancy score that we're looking for at the moment. Don't overcomplicate stuff. We're not trying to win Pulitzer Prizes. Like why not target a Birmingham website with some Midlands-based data? Why not target Gloucester Live with some Gloucester-based data? There are less and less journalists employed by these publications literally on a monthly basis, yet they've still got to hit the output in terms of words written. So if you can be their friend and give them reliable data with backup of the source and hit them with the information they're looking for within their deadlines, there's no reason why they wouldn't publish what you're looking for. And this isn't just in a B2C thing either. So again, we have a mortgage broker client that we got featured in a mortgage strategy website. I'm not going to say this has changed the world, but in terms of relevancy and links and authority, it's exactly what you should be looking for from your SEO agency. Or do we call ourselves discovery agencies now that we've got LLMs? I've not worked on my strap line for that yet, but I'm sure by the end of the night, you'll all give me some ideas and I'll be rewriting the website tomorrow. Expert comments are amazing in terms of getting your client on board or getting your stakeholders in your own businesses on board, because you're trying to put your boss's name in lights. So if you think about it that way, there are people out there looking for your opinion. So the couple of examples here of the FT and SaaS Advisor looking for SaaS businesses to get your opinion. Like if you're running a SaaS business, there are literally journalists. Take a picture all you want, Leanne. These might have expired now, but can't promise you there's still live opportunities, by the way. I made this deck at least 3 weeks ago, you and your deadlines. But the reality is there are journalists out there looking for your opinion. And if you work for a decent business with a reputation, your opinion carries weight. Take advantage of that. And you never know what traffic might come from that link. As a minimum, you've got visibility on a SaaS-based platforms, blog pages about your SaaS business that is going to give you a link that will power your Google ranking and your, glad the lid's on that, and your LLM visibility. I'm more of a stage walker, if I'm honest with you guys. What are these barriers that they put here for me? Like, this is, I could have a dance, to be honest. I'll do my best to stand still. You can also pitch your own ideas and think about what people are thinking about at the time of year. So at the start of September, we have a car leasing client that all we ever talk about is people don't know where to park at school. It's always the ones that the kids are in reception. They don't know how school pickup works, do they? They're parking in the wrong place. You can get so much coverage off that type of stuff. Or people are worried about their energy bills in the winter. So why don't we offer some tips on how they can save money? Like, none of this stuff is complicated. Like, we find a lot of in-house teams, like, we're going to try and aim for the stars. Just get some coverage. Like, think about why you're doing it. And this is where what I'm doing is different to what Hayley was talking about. Like, we are literally trying to get quick and cheap visibility in local rags, basically. But it doesn't have to be an impossible task or require 85 hours of meetings to discuss on whether we should sign something off. Just get it done, get it published. We go back to email delivery rates. They probably won't read it anyway, but I'll come on to that anyway. Again, doesn't have to be B2B stuff. This is some stuff that we did for the same client that we did the car boot stuff. The journalists are actually looking for what you're selling. So if you're an e-commerce brand, here's 3 examples here. So Good Housekeeping are looking for something about baggy jeans. Glamour are looking for something about high rocks. Guys are out there looking for you. Just go and find them and give them the information that they want, and you'll get the coverage that you need to manipulate your LLM and your Google rankings. They're looking for you. Go and find them. Or make sure your agency that you're working with is going out and proactively finding them rather than hoping that they find your press page. Twitter. Just search #journo requests and see what you find. Like, journalists, it'll always be Twitter, by the way. It's never X. Never forget that. Journalists literally want your opinion, and you're not even looking. Like, you're leaving money on the table. Go and get it done. We've always had amazing success by trying to use like client case studies. So putting a face to the story, because we can all make up a survey. But if you can convince one of your clients to go, and bear in mind, you can sell it on the, do you want to be in a newspaper? That actually really matters to some people. But again, a couple of ones that we did. This woman was worried she'd lose her home after her husband's death. Was she? Well, according to our My PR team, she was. So, but hey, we got in the Express, and she probably was a little bit, miffed, but maybe not panicking. Welcome to PR, guys. This guy has 2 jobs and gets universal credit, which suggests he doesn't do many hours in each job, if I'm honest with you, but he still isn't earning enough. That's a story that you can put a face behind, and bear in mind that most journalists these days are paid on page views. So that's clickable. Like there is, bloody hell, I work 2 jobs as well, and I don't think I get paid enough. They're going to get page views. Your story is going to get picked up. Again, said it at the start, we're not going to win Pulitzer Awards for this stuff, but we get links and we get coverage. So think about why you're doing this. I'm okay without being a New York Times bestseller, if I'm honest. I do it for myself, by the way. Like, I'm not sat here preaching to converted. We do a 4-day week at work, and we rinsed that to death, as I'm sure you can imagine. I'd like to point out, though, Jack does save thousands in childcare by doing a 4-day week. But yeah, this isn't just stuff that we're just saying you should do. We do it for ourselves. So just think about that. So I've never been happier to be able to use this meme in a presentation, if I'm honest. Like that, I was like, right, I need an image for how to pitch to journalists. And only one image jumped out in front of me. And I found it at high res enough to show on a stage. So winning. So a couple of stats. Now, these are, one is 2 years old, one is 4 years old, but they are still relevant today. And if anything, it's going to be worse these days because every link builder in the world is now a digital PR. So just keep that in mind. But Neil works for Reach PLC. So he gets, on average, 457 emails a day. If he spent 15 minutes looking at an email, 15 more have arrived. Like, when does the overwhelm just make him select all and archive? And if it's important, they'll come back to me. Because that's what I'd be doing. And I don't even know how publishers are actually dealing with this avalanche of, can I say bollocks, that are coming through their inboxes when you're actually trying to find good content to publish. So Jack here, 250 pitches where he could tell by the subject line, they just weren't right for it. Like the risk you've got, and Ashley spoke about deliverability. If somebody at Reach PLC marks your email as spam, does that mean that for the whole IT setup of Reach PLC, your email has now got a red flag against it for spam? So you're wasting your chances of getting your PR pitch opened by just spamming people. Like, it's not worth it, guys. Like, why not just find the right person and see what you get? So my girlfriend's ringing. I fucking told you I was on stage at 4:30 as well. Like, she's got more ADHD than me. Unbelievable. That's also why we're together. So I've got a couple of quick do's and don'ts on what you should be doing when you're pitching. So do please identify your target audience. Think about where your customers are reading. Think about where your customers are hanging out online. Work with those publications. Do look at relevant media outlets. Do read what the journalist writes about. Like, we've got the power of AI now where you can actually train AI to go to a publication, find only the travel writers, and then only email them travel opportunities. Like, technology is with you. Do use a journalist database. There's no point starting from scratch. There are things like Roxhill, there's Prowley, there's 5 or 6 that you could look at that's going to get you a fast start in terms of your journalist building. Use social media and Google to find their emails. ChatGPT is a bit of a pain because it actually conforms to GDPR regulations and won't give you actual email addresses, but it will give you the format that it expects it to be. So if you're good at concatenation and Excel, you can kind of sort yourself out to a certain degree. But if you can't find it, most journalists are quite proud to put their email on the publications and the articles that they've written. So why not use that to find it? Oh, we're doing so well as well. Next, use your relationships. Like, if you've already spoken to a journalist and you've got another story in a similar niche, why not go for it? We work a lot in fashion. So if I've done some work for one of my fashion clients and then my makeup client wants some coverage, probably the same person at the same publication. So why wouldn't you speak to them again? Follow up once. Like, if they've not responded to you in 24 hours, maybe they've been in meetings. Like, they're not just sat there waiting for your email, I'm afraid, guys. They've got other shit to get on with. So, like, don't be so keen. Like, think of it as dating. Like, don't be Captain Keen. Give her a minute to think about it. 3 days is plenty of time between text messages. Don't send journalist stories that are irrelevant to them. They're not going to open it. They're going to mark it as spam. You've got a red flag against your domain. Your DKIM, DMARC, SPF, blah, blah. You've just ruined it. Like, you just literally spent 3 weeks warming up that email address to just get marked as spam. Nice one. Don't just build huge lists of target journalists. We need to email enough people, but I'd rather send 200 relevant journalists than 2,000 press office at. So I think spending a little bit more time at the start to build out your lists of relevant journalists is certainly worth it. Don't send templates that aren't personalized. High name. I mean, I'm as guilty as the next person of writing an email that has no personalization in, because if there's no personalization, you can't balls it up. But also your open rates are going to be a lot less. Even just putting name or the publication that they're working for is massively going to increase your open rate. So you certainly should be looking at stuff like that. Don't click send without checking mistakes. We all want to get the job done and go to the pub. Love that you put me on at the end, because everyone's going to the roof bar after this, but I'll get the job done and we could go to the roof bar. But the mistakes happen. But you know what? Press F7 or whatever it is on a Mac. But yeah, just spell check stuff. Sometimes you can't help it, but it's definitely worth just having a read, get a colleague to read it before you send it to 2,000 prospects. Don't spam them. Like I've said before, I can't reiterate enough. You're going to red flag your domain on a corporate IT level. You've just ruined it for your colleague as well. They'll be over the moon about that. Don't follow up aggressively. It's not their problem that they don't give a shit about your story. We know that you're targeted by your story. I'm not. So you want to come at me, bro? Like, there's just no point. Like, you're just going to ruin a relationship that you might need in the future. So what we're ultimately working towards is being the source. God, I'm really struggling to stand still here, because of these chairs. Is being the source that reporters call. Like, we don't have to bother with any of this courting when they know who we are, and they just come to us because you're the trusted voice. So an example here, when we did the publication that got featured in The Sun, Laura, who is a freelance writer and editor, which means she works for more than one publication, by the way. So if you're friends with Laura, you could get 6 links out of this conversation. But she came to us and said, I wondered if you'd be interested in working together. Yes, we are. So if you can build that relationship, that human to human, I think you mentioned it earlier, Leanne, about it's people buy off people. Like, people work with people. Like, I know we send 3,000 emails a day and we love you all, but people work with people. And if we just keep that at the forefront of our mind, if we can help Laura hit her target without giving her too much crap, she's going to come back to us time and time again. So don't forget that. But also use your SEO skills. So a couple of years old, this example, but I can't take it out of my decks because it was a good one. So we published we commissioned a survey on our client's website. Some of it may have been desk research, I believe we call it, but I'll let you guys think about that. But we actually ranked that page for the cost of Christmas 2023. I don't know if you remember that hedonistic December of 2023 when the cost of living crisis was all we were thinking about. Well, guess what? The BBC searched for the cost of Christmas 2023 and got in touch with us. Like, if they're coming to you, you can take a different stance when it comes to, yeah, you can have my information, but I want a link. Like, you're not going to them saying, please feature me. They're coming to you, which means you can say, yeah, you can feature me, but. And that is such a tiny difference, but the power shifts to you as the information provider rather than you as the information seller. And that applies to sales as well, by the way, inbound versus outbound. But when it comes to PR, they contacted us, which means that, yeah, you can, but I want credit. And on the BBC, you just get featured as a brand link further down the page. I'll take that. So use your SEO skills, rank your content for informational queries related to the story that you're pitching, and they'll come to you. So 3 quick DIY and low cost, because nothing's free in this life, guys, digital PR tactics. So I hope you've all heard of if this and that. So I mentioned earlier about the Twitter search for journo requests. So you can buy for, I think it's $2.99 a month. And if you can't get that signed off, get a new job. You can track hashtag mentions in a Google spreadsheet. So for me, I spend, or I say it's a royal I, my team, if I'm honest, spend 10 minutes a day looking at IFT pull-ins for journo request and keyword. So a quick example here is journo request and money. Now, I'm not saying that every opportunity in this spreadsheet is going to be relevant for my client, but you know what? You've got a cup of tea in one hand and you're scrolling your mouse with the other. I reckon you can give 5 minutes a day to have a quick look at what opportunities are there. That's going to cost you $1 a week. If you're not doing that as a DIY, also, if your agency are charging you 300 quid a month for journo request discovery, maybe think about where they're getting their data from. Unless it's from us, of course, in which case we offer exceptional value. Well, this is not a pitch, and Leanne knows that. I knew that I'd go eventually. The other thing that we can, no offense, Ash, this is not my first rodeo, so I'll ignore the spilt water. The other thing that you can do if you're willing to invest a little bit more money is pay for tools. So Response Source is where journalists go to publish where they're looking for opportunity. So you can see in this one, again, it was from November 2023, but it just tells the story from cradle to grave, so I wanted to include it. So they're looking for, again, Pulitzer Prize winning content around insulating Victorian homes. I've got a Victorian home. It's flipping drafty in the winter, so I actually want to know how I can insulate it better. It costs about $100 a week for the software. Depends on what your ambitions are from LLM and Google visibility. So to some people, you're doing it alongside everything else you're doing. Do you know where the agency fees go, guys? Software. Trust me on that one. But we got this published in Good Homes magazine, so a brilliant publication for my client. I can give you all the DRDA stuff, depends on what floats your boat in terms of metrics. But the beauty of getting digital PR right, it'll actually rank. So in the people also ask section of Google for insulating a Victorian house, we're featured. So if Google loves it enough that it's willing to put it in the PAAs, that's exactly where I want my client's content or my own content featured. And then you can just sit back in the bath in the morning and collect the money. In euros, not worth as much as they were, but still pretty good. We all love ChatGPT. ChatGPT is almost in this. So ChatGPT is technology's gift to humanity in the same way that hemp is nature's gift to humanity. And that's a conversation for later. I'm thinking fuel and food and the fact it uses 20% less water than cotton, all the stoners out there. But the reality is ChatGPT is amazing. So I asked ChatGPT, I'm working with Pretty You London. They make the best bamboo bedding in the summer and sheepskin slippers in the winter. Which UK journalist should I be speaking to? I paid $20. Come on. Like, I know they're full of VC funding, but it's $20 a month. They gave me all this stuff. Like, I used to have to pay Filipinos to go and find this stuff for me. Now there's NVIDIA GPUs that will do it for $20 a month, guys. Like, why wouldn't we be doing it? The only downside is that they won't actually give you the email addresses that you're looking for. So the Filipinos didn't lose their jobs. They just got restructured into a different role. But the reality is Victoria works at Cosmo, and if I emailed beauty@cosmopolitan.com, I'll probably get through to her. Bridget, bad example, Sally at The Guardian, if I emailed Sally.Hughes at The Guardian as a beauty columnist and offered her some makeup or something that my clients are selling, but like, you are building media lists that you used to have to pay hundreds of dollars a month to Prowley, to Vulio. Like, it's there on your phone, on your desktop. They'll even, if you ask it nicely, give it you in a Google Sheets format. So use the technology that's in front of you to your own advantage. Sit back in the bath in the morning, collect the money. Hate baths, I love a shower if I'm honest. But I quite like that image. So how are you going to adopt these digital PR approaches to consistently secure work landline? Don't ring me at work, guys. To secure authoritative backlinks and visibility. Thank you.
We must have some questions after that. Anybody? Let's go. We have a few minutes left. Thank you. There you go, sir.
That was a fantastic talk. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I'm just curious what your thoughts are when it comes with ChatGPT and language models. One of the great things about them is that they're able to crawl websites, and that's how we get the information. But there's companies like Cloudflare, which offer services to like 20% of all websites online. And they've just introduced a pay-per-crawl model, which essentially is the AI bots, now charging the AI bots to crawl the data. So I'm curious on what your thoughts are when it comes to how they're going to navigate that and how that's actually going to affect the data that language models are actually providing us now. And if that's success for Cloudflare, Amazon and all the others are going to join that. So it's going to become very expensive for language models to scrape data.
Yeah, and so straight away with Cloudflare that have made it their default, like as soon as you set up a new domain in Cloudflare, they've blocked LLM crawlers. Is it a pain in the arse? Yeah, absolutely. Do we know what's going to happen in 6 months? No. So for a long time, for as long as I've been working in Google manipulation, I can't believe Google steals my data and puts it on no-click crawls and no-click SERPs. And I think they'll always find a way around it. And I think that whether you're getting paid or not, from a brand perspective, you still need to be visible on LLM and Google, whether it generates a click or not. So I think if we just pick The Guardian as an example, I mean, God, they pester me for £4 a month or whatever the thing that comes up when is there anyone from The Guardian here? I'm sorry if you are. I
think we only got the
they're still going to have to allow their content to be discovered. And I think that's where, if you're, just slight sidetrack from the question, if your SEO agency isn't starting to talk to you about just being discovered rather than appearing on Google, then maybe you need to think about the relationships that you're having with it. In terms of making it more expensive, there is always VC funding available in San Francisco for people that will give them $50 billion for stuff. I mean, again, I'm a creative genius, some might say, but I'm not the money man when it comes to raising VC funding. Otherwise, they would have sent me to press training. So.
Anybody else got any more questions?
Yeah, one more question. So if you have a business and you're targeting B2B, but you don't really have a specific market in, let's say, a country, like you say, you're all your clients in the US, how do you decide which like content sites you work with journalists? Do you still go with a local strategy, or do you try to go with a national strategy?
So so just looking at the US market, I get most of my work from the US as well, so I'm fairly familiar with the US market. If I could win at state level in the US, I'm generally pretty happy for a lot of our clients. But at the moment, from what we're seeing from LLMs, and again, like I said, I'm not sat here as some kind of LLM platform expert that I think I know 1% of what's going on. But I'm not seeing any favoritism for local news at the moment with LLM stuff. From an SEO perspective, absolutely. If I'm working with a pest control company in California, I absolutely want to be in the Sacramento Times because it's got that local signal for Google Maps and Google local listings. But from an LLM perspective, I can't say that I've got any data that I can accurately talk on a stage about that says that you should be hitting just local press. I think that if you can get featured in sorry for picking pest control. If you can get featured in pest control publications or something after a hurricane on how you can make stuff better, then I'd just be focusing on that. But at the moment, I'm not seeing anything in the data that I've got going through my 35 person team, 20 odd clients that's telling us that LLM stuff is that localized, but happy to be proven wrong.
Anybody else?
Marketing and Reddit marketing wasn't but forums.
Yeah.
What's your bet on that? I only say it because I've done quite a lot of work on Reddit and I think do quite well.
Yeah, I mean, Reddit is literally one of the most cited sources in LLM stuff, and in Google, since Google agreed to pay them $50 million to, I mean, there's a conversation for a cocktail later. Go where your users are, really. So we use Reddit for all of our clients for the referral traffic. Again, Redditors are nearly as bad as Wikipedia editors, so you've got to be very careful that you don't sort of tread on the wrong toes. But Reddit is a trusted online source. So is Quora. So is Pinterest for image stuff, depending on sort of the LLM stuff that you're trying to pull back. I think you've got to be involved. Like if you're ignoring, I think at the moment for the next, I say 12 months, it could be all over in 3 months at this rate because things are moving fast. But I think you could probably get away with ignoring it for the next 3 to 12 months. But I think it's just going to get more and more cited. And it's that cited bit. I was doing a search today and the Google AI overviews gave me a massive list of results, and only maybe every 4 listings was a link tag. And that link tag then told me to 6 different sources. Like that, you have gone from being 1 in 10 to being 1 in 50 on the front page. Now, again, I pay my mortgage and there's 24 years to go with that bastard as well. So I'm not quite out of the woods yet. But it is this year, I've been doing this for 20 years. And this year has been the biggest upheaval when it comes to organic ever, really, since AOL's walled garden. Like this is mental, honestly. But you know, my contracts are at least for the 12 months on.
Any other questions?
I guess all that's required then is a big round of applause. Thank you very much, Gareth. Thank you.